You've likely already heard and watched 13 other videos or so from your favorite YouTubers about this news. The geniuses at Microsoft Xbox have decided the best way to keep everyone happy while you're having the worst generation you've ever had is to continue raising prices. This is easily the worst things have been for them since the Xbox One, and that was once the worst generation they've ever had. In fact, they're still recovering from it. The 2013 TV, the 24-hour check-ins and not being able to share discs between friends and family. I don't think they've ever recovered from that. Xbox at that time was a brand that was just coming off their most successful generation, the Xbox 360. Easily the best console that Microsoft ever had, and personally one of my favorite generations of all time. How do you screw up this badly? How were you never able to put the ship back on the right course? Knowing everything that we know now, them shooting themselves in the foot any number of times since 2013 may have been the best for everyone, the gamers and the industry itself. If Microsoft were winning, say 3-1, 4-1 in these last couple of generations, I can only imagine how things would go at this point. Look at the stuff they're trying to push now, the type of business practices they'd push and get away with. When you're number one, when you're the sheriff, everyone has to fall in line. If there has ever been a time that you can't trust anything Xbox tells you, it's now. If you're not awake, it's time to wake up. And you know what? I would say the same thing to all of their studios. Don't believe anything that they tell you, especially after what happened to guys like Tango Gameworks. Look at what they're willing to do to you, the customer, now, especially their most loyal customers, when they're losing. Do you follow? Now you're starting to see the bigger picture. And that's really how I was going to begin and probably end this video initially. How can you piss in everyone's face and ask them to bend over when you're getting crushed by your competition? Raise the price of your console twice in the same year? 2 days ago, they've now decided to price their so-called best deal in gaming out of a lot of bank accounts. And I ask myself, why do they keep changing the tier names? Why did they put a cap on the reward system and try to bully you into getting Ultimate if you were really into the rewards program? Yeah, sorry, our highest tier costs more than Netflix at this point. Sorry, you have to pay $30 to be capped at 100,000 points. Can we say scam job? Because it's a scam job. How about this? And I refuse to believe they're not smart enough and they didn't think about this. Why didn't they just create a separate tier for all of this so-called new value that they've added? Ubisoft Classics, a bunch of games that were already available elsewhere, a bunch of games that most people who would be interested in them bought them at full price at launch or on really cheap sales at different times of the year. Everyone already owns those damn games. Fortnite nonsense? Is this what we're doing? What about the millions of customers you have that don't play that game? I don't know that I've ever seen a company that's on the level with Microsoft be this tone deaf. How can you claim in a video that you're listening to customers and want to give them more value and make these boneheaded decisions? There's no way in hell that you can make these decisions and say you're listening to customer feedback. All of the evidence says otherwise. If a person doesn't care about those Ubisoft titles or already owns most of those and they don't play Fortnite, how did you listen to feedback? Who are these people that you supposedly listen to? Fact of the matter is, there isn't anyone because they don't exist. And making things like this up is a very corporate and robotic response to our investors just want more money. Create a new $30 tier, but keep everything else as it was. Or, here's a crazy idea, shock the world and add slightly more value to the existing tiers and lower the prices. That would make entirely too much sense though. That would just put way too much faith back into your brand. That's not gonna happen. Microsoft is no longer interested in these things, it seems. I don't use Gamepass. I simply refuse. Renting games on the regular just isn't in my DNA. Let's all try to look at it like this, and I realize that it won't apply to absolutely everyone, but it's still a good suggestion nonetheless. I know a lot of you probably would still like to have Ultimate, but just not at $30 a month. At $30 a month, which I think comes out to $360 a year, you could buy the 2 to 4 games that you absolutely consider must-play experiences on day one or a month or two later, and probably still have money left over from that $360. You'll end up saving money going that route, and you'll probably save even more because it's not like Xbox has put out must-have game after must-have game during this generation. I said that we would circle back around to them getting on track, righting the wrongs, and shifting gears. You know, guys, I think the problem is, one of the bigger problems is they don't care who the captain of this ship is. Phil Spencer is in on it. If you refuse to believe the figurehead of Xbox isn't sitting down in these meetings and investor calls to discuss what the next plan of attack is, you either haven't been paying attention or your mouth is too full of corporate cock to care. Phil Spencer is 100% assisting with a lot of this decision making. And if he's not, he's agreeing with anyone and everyone on the moves he himself doesn't make. It's a money game. It's always been a money game, especially when we're talking Microsoft. A company as big as Microsoft, as well off as Microsoft, they're always trying to come up with new and old ways to make even more profit than the year before. It was always clear that they wanted to take over your living room. You can probably go back even further than this, but you can go all the way back to like Windows XP Media Center Edition. I don't know how many of you remember that. Some of you may have not even been born yet, some of you way too young. But that's how far back some of this goes. They've discovered that it's not going to happen by selling you a lot of hardware, so they're turning to what they do and sell best, the software. It should go without saying, but I'm going to say it anyway. I think one of the best things a lot of us can do at this point is to stop supporting any and all Xbox services. It's been mean to death at this point, but really all we have to do is start voting with our wallets. So many of you already have, as the website to cancel those subscriptions literally crashed the day that this happened. I like to think that in my head, that meant millions of people, millions of subscriptions were lost. But only Xbox has the true numbers. I just like to hope that I'm right. We have to let these guys know that we want more physical games. Screw day one releases on a service. I'd rather buy my games. I personally have this mindset, but I think it's something we should all adopt, or at least something similar. If it hasn't been clear through most of this generation, they don't care about you. They likely never will, because that's not how Xbox operates, or just big corporations in general. The only way to give them even some small form of, I guess we'll say, clarity, is to stop supporting all of the practices that are leading the brand and, who knows, maybe the entire industry down a far worse road. Look what they've done to you loyal supporters of Xbox. They priced the day one releases exclusively into the newly priced $30 tier of Ultimate. I'd love to see hands if I can get a decent amount of views on this video. Comment down below if you were only subscribed to Game Pass for the day one releases and Call of Duty. They could have left that alone or included it with premium, but don't worry, you premium guys, you guys aren't totally left out. Xbox is bringing you guys the scraps within, a year or so of a game's release. Oh, wait a minute, that's also kind of a maybe, and also doesn't include Call of Duty games anymore. Oh man, that is a shame. They don't care, guys. The only thing they see is numbers. If their profits are affected, that's the only song they listen to. It's certainly the only one that plays on a frequency that they can hear. Then and only then will they pretend to care again. I think what makes a lot of this even worse is that Xbox has acquired some of the most talented studios in the world. But when was the last time that a lot of us can honestly say that a good chunk of those studios released something truly, truly special? A lot of what's being pushed out now from Xbox at this point is in the mid-tier. Through poor management, which I've also spoken about many times on this channel, and their subscription service, these things have shaped what kind of games they can make. Xbox is absolutely 100% finished with these moves made in 2025. The only way to get people to smile again and earn some of that good faith back is to remember what made Xbox special in the first place. They used to bring the hits and try new things and spend the money to see if they could try and create the next big Halo or Gears. Let's be honest with ourselves though. Those days have been gone for a very long time. To wrap this up, in conclusion, my suggestions are to grab a PC and a PlayStation and to start building your Steam and GOG library. I can't, at least at this time, in good faith, tell you to get a Switch because Nintendo continues to make some truly scummy moves themselves. While none of these companies that I suggested are perfect, a combination of what I did suggest is the best value in gaming. It sure as hell is an Xbox, and Game Pass is washed up. Don't do it simply because I suggested it. Do it for you because I can guarantee you'll feel much better about this hobby. Hey man, if you guys like this video, throw me a like. It's greatly appreciated. If you didn't like it, you know what to do there as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. Take care. Have a good one. Peace.